How do you cater for everyone's needs if everyone's needs in the house are different? And it's a fair question. So if you think about it, mum might want to lose some body fat, dad might work an active job, right, and really find it hard to put on weight. And the kids, well, they're growing, and you might have boys who play active sports that are, require muscle, like football, or you might have girls who are dancers and they're burning a lot of energy. So how do you cater for all of those needs without cooking 4 separate meals? And it's really interesting because it's quite simple when you understand the makeup of a meal and you actually eat meals rather than snack all day. Problem is, in today's society, because we are so busy and we do value work over repair, we tend to just add stuff to our lives, and it just creates less and less time to sit down and eat a meal. So we're grabbing stuff on the run, right? And the things that, if you think about the things that you can eat that are on the run, they're convenient, they're easily stored, especially in heat, right? We live in Australia, so you have to combat the fact that, well, you need to keep things cool, right? Especially if they are made from meat. So you have all of these obstacles and all of these challenges. So I'm going to break down for you how I would think about this, and actually how we think about this inside of our household, and give you a couple of different situations, so that I'm not just giving you information, but I'm showing you how to apply it. So first of all, let's just imagine you're on school holidays, or the kids aren't going off to school, and you've got a pretty settled lifestyle. In that situation, in that case, it's quite easy to cook meals that contain protein, contain plant food, and contain good fats that everyone can share, right? Because regardless of whether you want to fuel your body for a lot of activity and to gain weight or lose body fat, the construction of a meal doesn't change. So for mum wanting to lose body fat, her underlying problem is that she doesn't have enough muscle mass. Her underlying problem is that her metabolism is slowing down, right? And her underlying problem is that she doesn't have the energy to go about and find time for herself to get active, right? So she needs the same stuff as dad, who leads an active lifestyle, finds it hard to put on weight because the last thing he wants to do is put on body fat, because that's going to not make life easier in his active job. He wants to build muscle, right? So his underlying problem is that he just doesn't have enough muscle mass. And it's very likely that he's also running on oil fumes, right? And he's stopping at petrol stations or taking really high energy snacks to work to just get him through. So the construction of a meal doesn't change from mum to dad, and doesn't change from mum to dad to child either. The only main thing for children is that they can get away with having a lot more high energy plant foods than adults can, and that's simply just because they're always on the run. That context is important though, because if your kids are like most kids these days and are on screens more often than running around in the backyard or the front yard, then chances are they're going to have more of an adult metabolism sooner too. So it all comes back to relativity. It all comes back to your individual situation. But there's some general rules of thumb. Every time you eat, there needs to be a protein, a carb, an omega-3 or some kind of good fat inside that meal. And the more you eat meals rather than snack, the more likely you're going to get a meal that is full of variety and hit all of the needs of your day. Okay, the snacks become a problem when they are single macronutrients, right? So if you think of a muesli bar, there's not much protein in that. It's high energy and it's made from carbohydrates. If you think about biscuits, same thing. A lot of things that you can take on the run generally are high in carbohydrates, and they're high in processed carbohydrates. So they're not going to necessarily fuel repair or recovery. They're going to give you energy, but they're not going to fuel repair or recovery. So with all of that said, let's say you are leading a pretty busy lifestyle. I'll give you the other end of the spectrum now. So school's gone back, and kids are at school. They go off to, for our case, dancing after school, and then dinner's pretty late, maybe 6 or 7 o'clock. I mean, that's late for us, but it may not be late for you. But anyway, busy lifestyle, right? So there's a couple of things you can do here. First of all, have a breakfast that is really high in protein, and try and get your veggie serves and your fruit serves in the morning, right? Because that's going to get you off to a great start, and everyone needs that. Kids, mum, dad, everyone needs that. That's your window there, because when the day starts to take over, then you're going to have less time to eat. Now, you can stop your day to eat, which productivity-wise, it's been shown that you're more productive at work when you take regular breaks. But let's just imagine you can't take those breaks, and then you go all day and you get to about 2 or 3 o'clock and you need something to eat again. When you hit that window where you can sit down and you can eat, that's where you need to have your protein, your carbs, your fats again, right? You need to have something that is complete. And then if you can have something like that again for dinner and something like that again at bedtime, already you've got 4 opportunities there to burn body fat, build muscle, get healthier, right? If you think of it like that, for everyone in the household, everyone needs to do that to just maintain proper growth and good aging, right? So build muscle, burn fat, or at least maintain body fat levels and increase energy levels for performance throughout the day. Let's have a little talk about some strategies that you can use during the busy times, right? This is starting to optimize that. So once you've got the start of the day and the end of the day down right and down pat, then you can start to optimize the middle of the day. How can you have something that's on the run and something that you can eat quickly, right? So Mighty Meaty Muffins, chicken garlic rissoles, they're really good examples of things that you can use to eat and pick out with your fingers, okay? You're going to have to be pre-planned with this, so you're going to need an ice brick, or you're going to need to have some kind of cool pack with you. But by doing that, you don't get yourself in a situation at the end of the day where you're craving, you've got no energy, or you end up sick, overwhelmed, burnt out. Now, this isn't just for you, Mum, this is for the whole family, because everyone's body, everyone's physiology at the very basic level of what your body does is pretty much the same, right? Our cells, they require ATP to do daily functions, to produce energy, to fight off disease, to perform, and to repair and regenerate itself. So your bodies, they all need the same thing. And then I think that's the main thing that I want you to take away from this conversation is the fitness industry tends to complicate the shit out of nutrition. Like, seriously, complicate it too much. Like, have X amount of grams of protein per day, and have this many meals per day, and have this many amount of carbs, or don't have carbs, or cut out fats for this person and that person. And at the end of the day, the biggest problem, the one that solves about 80% of everyone's problem, is just getting into a good rhythm with your nutrition, right? Getting food from the shop, the supermarket, into your house, cooked, portioned, and in a format that is delicious, something that you actually look forward to eating. And if you can do that, then a lot of the excess 10, 15 kilos of weight that you have on you right now, that's solved, right? A lot of the issues that Dad has with his back, or with his ability to put on body weight, or whatever his problems are with his body, they're solved at the same time, right? Because if you do it this way and getting into that rhythm, then it's a matter of just having a little bit bigger size for Dad, a little bit smaller size for the kids, but you're all eating the same thing.